Hello, live long and prosper. First, I decided to return to the art style that I'm not sure who invented, maybe me, maybe other people, but the art style that I thought about in 2001. In 2001, uh, it's basically, I'm not sure what to call it, either gray pop or black pop. I'm not sure. Basically, what it is mm, for people who love color, uh, the art style in black and white for people who love a lot of color. But instead of color, we use not color but contrast. See? Black, gray, white, everything else. Mm, yeah. And what it will also include, it will include eloquent fonts, mm, how do you say, lush but eloquent fonts. For example, when you will cut out a part of the letter to give it more, how do you say, style. I showed some of these pictures that I made in 2001 to my friends, and my friends are slightly different than me. They have different tastes, and they kind of didn't like it. Said that it was too dark. But what I'm trying to do is to create a style, something like you know how many people like Helmut Newton books, comic books who are black and white, and black and white movies. So that's basically about it, but more accent on being happy and bright and energetic. You know, as I call it, it would be a. I invented it in 2001, or maybe I got inspiration from someone else when I visited Finland. Yeah, I visited Finland and I saw some really stuff that gave me this inspiration. And basically, what it would be a black and white style for people who love color. I don't know, maybe someone already invented it before, I'm sure. But anyway. It would be based on contrast. This contrast will provide for the joy of color. Instead of using this colors, you know, we would use contrast to provide the same joyous colors. That's my idea. And what it would need to be, it would need to be very clean, very eloquent, and very, maybe not eloquent, maybe sometimes lush, but clean and happy. Happy, yeah. Another topic that I wanted to talk about is, in the internet, uh, a lot of people, if not say most of the people, are people with diseases who cannot, for example, leave their house and sit at home and communicate with each other, because other people go to real cafes and these people just turn on the camera and talk to each other. And my idea has always been that you must help people, not moderate them. Because when a person is sick, you cannot moderate them. And the irony is that a lot of these people actually become moderators themselves. For example, they don't have legs or sitting in a wheelchair and they become moderators and moderate others. And this makes me think of the situation when I was in hospital with some of my relatives' health. There was this really sick woman who was screaming bad words, but she was screaming not because she's bad. She was screaming because she had pain. And, uh, all of this idea of moderating people's behavior. You could, for example, maybe moderate a normal person who is actually moderate is translated as normal from Latin. Moderate, normal, middle line. But when people, many people, are sick, you cannot moderate them. That's, for example, I have never been a moderator a single time in my life, and to be frank, I despise the moderators. Except maybe sick people who don't have other chance to be happy, you know. Another topic that, for example, some crazy moderators get power trips from just. For example, I'm guilty too. I got power trips sometimes in my life, but I don't like it. I don't like it when you get a power trip by, prohibiting someone to do something. That's about moderation. The final thought about moderation. We don't need moderation with sick people. These sick people need help. They need help, not moderation. You understand that? That's all I wanted to say. You don't need to moderate them to make them, a middle line. You need to help them. Yeah, I had a third too, but I forgot what it was. maybe let's just add that sometimes, you know, people who hide under the illusion of being, what's the better word than liberal? Free-minded, free-minded, of given freedom. They themselves uh, get into big fights and basically behave like people who they oppose. If you watched my two previous videos, you know I showed this two fighting cats, two cats fighting a cat fight. Basically, what I'm trying to say in context of this moderation, that sadly, uh, people who call themselves free-minded uh, cause the same problems that they're fighting against. And in my opinion, it's no problem because, I'm an evolutionist. I can show you a book here, for example, about paleontology. Paleontology, dinosaurs, everything, Here's, for example, dinosaurs, here's mammoths, and everything else. And I understand that it's impossible if you just call yourself a free minded person, or maybe a synonym, a liberal, you don't automatically become a liberal or a free minded person. You just call yourself that. But you, as I showed in previous videos, will fight as a cat like this. Scratch, 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 scratch. All over the time. And that's what's happening now. Okay. That's basically the three thoughts I wanted to tell you in this video. Maybe not even you, maybe even myself. It's like my diary, like Dale Cooper's diary. I just remind myself. I have a diary here and other diaries there, and I just remind myself of what I wanted to remember. So I wanted to remember these three thoughts today. Okay. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you into a fighting mode or any negative emotions. In my opinion, maybe a fourth thought for you, everything that happens in this life is for good. For example, I really wish good for everyone, for you, for any person, free minded, liberal, Republican, Texan, Californian, European, Asian. I wish everyone good. Uh, but even if people or I do aggressive things, there's this rule. They think that they're doing it for good, and maybe it's actually really for good. Because, for example, if I see a piece of shit lying on a pavement, and if I clean it up, it's not because I hate the shit. It's because I wanted to make the street clear. Maybe a bad explanation, maybe I didn't explain myself well, but even bad emotions, even if you hate something, is basically, in your opinion, for the better, for the making of this world a better place. You know, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. And I hope, uh, I really hope I didn't give you bad emotions, but um, I gave you good emotions. For example, if you see this rubbish behind me, I really consider this rubbish. This all. For example, you got bad emotions from this furniture behind me or something like that. And guess what? I say you're right. You're right. It's bad, in my opinion. It needs to be better. And if you react that you want it to be better, you are correct. Okay? I'm trying to change it into something better. So, we all, the whole humanity and every animal basically, even bacteria, live for the better stuff. And I hope, what does it mean, I hope? No, I know everything is moving towards a better thing. And yeah, those were basically four thoughts that I wanted to share, mostly with myself today, that when I watch later I remember. New visual style, no blocking sick, ill people, helping people. Everything that we do is for the better. Not we, everyone. We think that we're doing it for the better. The whole humanity does, and the whole animal kingdom does. Yeah, basically it. And thank you, and I hope this video didn't bore you, but actually it was boring to be frank. But I hope it gave you some, I don't know, insight or something like that. Thank you, goodbye. Live long and prosper. Maybe Mr. Spock's gesture will give you some happiness. Thank you, goodbye.